This is our true reparation. This is what they don't teach us in the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? So, you hear what the black must say, sir?
Revelation 13 verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
So the black must say, if any man have an ear, let him hear.
Yeah.
Christ says, if you have an understanding, let him do what?
Let him hear.
Let him understand. Understand what?
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
No, me.
Shall go into captivity.
Might.
Shall go into captivity.
Christ says, shall go into captivity. Read.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Christ said they must be killed with the sword. This is our reparation. Read.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
That's us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is our true reparation. This is our payback.
I forget it, boy. The saints are go take the kingdom, the saints are go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints are go take the kingdom, the saints are go take the kingdom, want you to know. Saints are go take the kingdom, saints are go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints are go take the kingdom, the saints are go take the kingdom. Them kill win at the street, hold themselves not guilty. He don't go far, them time a come shortly. Over fi chill him, get two from the ball whip. I'm a think him strong, remember Nagasaki. Hiroshima still the band, the most and red the party. Make a gas and a chance the fire burn them army. The IBM silence them, then we possess them. The reign of the saints begin, Christ a go start it. The saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom, want you to know. Saints a go take the kingdom, saints a go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom. Alright. With much tribulation, Israel stay strong. Weeping and mourning when the bomb touch down. Gnashing of teeth because of fervent eating. And now Babylon get defeat. With the violence and havoc on Jacob, you shouldn't do it. Bow down when you see the black king. Kiss the dust from off his blank feet. For with sword and fire the land play with all flesh. The saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom, want you to know. Saints a go take the kingdom, saints a go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom. Christ a go invade them with the armies. Him alone a chant down the wine praise. Left feedings in a base. Babylon a feel left desolate. Nobody can live there. Nobody can live there. The saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom, want you to know. Saints a go take the kingdom, saints a go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom. The saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom, want you to know. Saints a go take the kingdom, saints a go take the kingdom, don't you know that? Saints a go take the kingdom, the saints a go take the kingdom.
Babylon will be burning down. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come. Babylon will be burning down. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come. All of people don't to Israel when them see we in the city, you know. Kick off the dust off a Barnabas feet, you know. If them look up, man, we kick out them teeth, you know. Can't get a glass of water when them wicked, you know. Dogging on me yard, I get a vitamin feet, you know. Only on the holy day, them gonna get some sleep, you know. And take old pa east, a baby ill, you know. Marrow fly high, emotion, man, of feel, you know. Babylon will be burning now. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come. Babylon will be burning now. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come.
Nuclear fire burn Babylon and turn them into ashes. Most high, Lord God, I must strike the matches. Fervent heat and melt the elements, they can't stop it. Isaiah 54 is a vision from the prophet. The melting pot doctrine that has straight crutches. ICBM is salvation for the prophets. 2/3 I got dead, you know it have to happen. Scriptures dropping like a bomb, heat slapping.
Babylon will be burning now. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come. Babylon will be burning now. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come.
Babylon now go burn and me can't wait for seed. For all of the lies and the sin and deceit. Messiah come back and you gon' get defeat. Host of angel now back now retreat. Host I spin it off like all of the sins I go purge like. See it's a rule over the earth like. All nations them I go hurt like. Hellfire when the bomb drop down. People afraid, me say people are run. Watch them a panic, watch them spin and turn. While the 1/3 them a chill with the sun. Man a shine, man a glory. Don't act like you didn't know me. Remember the hatred the man used to show me. And I be a mercies my God a show me.
Babylon will be burning now. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come. Babylon will be burning now. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come. Babylon will be burning now. See the tables turning now. Take heed to the warning now. Judgment a come, judgment a come.
Look into my eyes, tell me what you see. I will be fulfilling every prophecy. Esau gotta pay for his atrocities, murdering and killing all the kings of my families. God got my back, ain't no stopping me. We the judges of the earth, you a wannabe. Repented of my sins, now it's God in me. They gon' see the beams in my eyes, no hypocrisy. For all these damn years, I was your slave. You don't get no credit, but you gotta pay. Wanna bump your lips? I'ma cut them out. I'll put them in your hands, I'll make you watch your mouth. This is what you get for disintegrate. When disintegrates with your head, you disintegrate. Wicked Babylon, make disintegrate. Christ invaded V4, miss a piece of cake.
Piece of cake mean the taste of vengeance is sweet. You gon' be bitter and trying to be friends for peace. After I sold you when you told me how to cook your meat. Next is a mouthful of blood from the raw beef. Castrated, doing the same thing he did to me. I'm making you knock like when you lose your keys. What's your name, boy? Oh, you ain't trying to speak? Grip my rudder eye and then wasted away. See, the sight he saw reminds him where he used to be. A carcass mountain made from his family tree. He trying to make me fall in sin with all that smooth talk. The only time I backslide is when I moonwalk. In the kingdom, no escaping if you break the law. I'm hitting up the 5th rib, no Isaiah 4. You sodomite kids, you trying to explain the queer? Not even transparent's gon' make it clear. Me a go call me plantation damnation, cause I straight payback on this damnation. Most I declare the end from creation. In a the God of vision, me put me salvation.
I had dreams of pushing the Maybach. Big money, Cuban links and make stacks. I'm finding out my history from slavery and way back. So it's only right I give you the whips and chains back. No bail for a fugitive, word is bond. It's 2020, so it's clear to see the vagabond. Who's the real Jews?
It's a face-off. Iconoclasm, take his face off. I ain't talking clothing line, but this right here, the true religion. Came from the chosen line, my mind is focused on the mission. I ain't never make a dime off the plantation field, but still generating profits in my Levi jeans. You gave me mad labor, I just do it like Nike. Worn out like all Adidas, I got scars from the stripes. You gotta pay with your life, I ain't showing no pardon. I'm here to collect debt, and it ain't no bargain.
Me a go call me plantation damnation, cause I straight pay back on this damnation. Most I declare the end from creation. In a the God fields when me put me salvation. Me and the word from me two-head sword. Fi thinking you stand a chance, you too late scar. Head crop on the floor like a few eggs fall. We are the real Jews, fool you are the bootleg farm. Cause when no time to feed them a go horrify. Them think them come feed, you make them swallow pride. You gonna eat your faces, fi keep you alive. Try to kill himself because them food was on the suicide.
It's past 10:30, we in the fourth quarter. When it's strike 12, time of your hands is getting shorter. Bruce Wayne can't save the day cause it's a dark night. No turning back the hands of time, I'm putting out your lights. We raising the bars like it's a workout. 5 G's hit the street to push the work out. YouTube and Viacom trying to shut us out. Via communication, send the hitters out. ADL been getting busy with the tricks. Fake Jews operate the mouth of the dragon. Thought you heard us, but that was a little nick. Many bodies getting hit when I fire this cannon. I leaped in a battle, that was my longest jump. I came to pull cards, I'm ready to dump. I am honored a victory over bodies slumped. Somebody tell Donald that I'm the real Trump.
Me a go call me plantation damnation, cause I straight pay back on this damnation. Most I declare the end from creation. In a the God fields when me put me salvation.
Good vibes in the area. Well, man, I fight down from the start. I mean, no carry grudge in the heart. Hatred make you turn for your people. Wise up, I feel be smart. DJ, turn up the vibes from the start. Ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the heart. We no carry grudge in the heart. Everybody feel right, right. Good vibes in the place all night. Cause we don't carry grudge, be people. We not have time for your study, no evil. Don't make them catch you with the bad energy. Smiling on your face, but me I tell like them my enemy. How many times you try to cure them? I fi cut them out, that they only remedy. Everybody go through things. We not perfect, so we not do the blame game thing. Know this trial's gonna come one day. I fi endure, adapt me and sing. Any function must clean, then step out, peel out, jump in a car, tire screech out, GPS it off, put in the route, dream team touch the scene, everybody scream out. Wait up, turn up the vibes from the start, ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the heart, we no carry grudge in the heart. DJ, turn up the vibes from the start, ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the heart. We no carry grudge in the heart.
Energy them not real, them a fake.
Cut the grass low so we get to see this snake them.
Pass the cutlass, give me the rake.
And a long time I don't tell us that the whole of them are fake.
Them can't hold me down, cause it's a party night. Good vibes in the air, tonight me feeling right.
But about not hypocrite, but about not parasite. Them just show themselves for day, but them come out tonight.
Them a vampire, I run from the light.
Them just remember every day, them spirit no right.
Them a combine evil, too much idle time.
But whatsoever in a dark coffee come in a light.
Turn up the lights from the start. Ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the arm. We no carry grudge in the arm. DJ, turn up the lights and the start. Ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the arm. We no carry grudge in the arm.
But them no really smiling at me face, me realize. Try give me the strength, me see they might be spiritualized. Still I enduring at this trouble when the pressure rise. Man, I feel hustle in at the giddy and we stay alive. No sweat and tears, endure self-sacrifice. Still not give up, cause my mind rest on a price. That try give me strength for overcome my enemies. Them full of hatred, them full of jealousy. Man, true to the thing, we no fake, we no counterfeit. I know for them, what they know them full of shit. Be perfect, Israel never quit. Have to be purged in the fire, so me tell you this. Man, true to the thing, we no fake, we no counterfeit. I know for them, what they know them full of shit. Be perfect, Israel never quit. Have to be purged in the fire, so me tell you this.
Turn up the lights on the start. Ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the arm. We no carry grudge in the arm. DJ, turn up the lights on the start. Ring tune, pull it up, celebrate cause we no carry grudge in the arm. We no carry grudge in the arm.
Stop. Hold on. Talk me about the Bible all the while. What your Bible say? St. John chapter 8 verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Hey, gather yourself together, our nation not desired. Make we keep the laws of God because of that required. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. I hope you understand the prayer. The most High open paradise unto you, to His laws and commandments you must be true. Look how long you are search with the truth. Now I come to teach it unto you. Hey, Native American, blacks and Hispanics, West Indians, we are the children of the promise. Special to the Most High. Israelites and we profile. No other nation can come close by. Our high time now we realize we are the sons of Jacob. Israelites wake up, the kingdom is at hand, and I know I am an Israelite. I'm a Benjamite. All praise to the Most High. Come make we unite the 12 tribes. I'm an Israelite. I'm a Benjamite. All praise to the Most High. Come make we unite the 12 tribes. You shall know the truth will set you free. Better never know, say Christ black us out the scripture say. Let go off from Babylon, come out to our philosophy. Separate yourself, let the Most High be your resting place. Signs of the times, open your eyes, see the prophecies. Keep the laws and live, don't you wait from being a reprobate. The Bible is a mystery, day and night we meditate. Won't you listen to me, Israel? Native American, blacks and Hispanics, West Indians, we are the children of the promise. Special to the Most High. Israelites how we profile. No other nation can come close by. A high time now for we realize we are the sons of Jacob. Israelites wake up, the kingdom is at hand, and I know I am Israelite. I'm a Benjamite. All praise to the Most High. Come make we unite the 12 tribes. I'm an Israelite. I'm a Benjamite. All praise to the Most High. Come make we unite the 12 tribes.
Yeah. Yo. We almost there, Israel. You done know.
Bro,
Enjoy the little music being played today. You done know.
Of this.
dream me a dream for better days. Pray me a pray for Jah fi pass my way. Oh please won't you come to save me from my misery. Too long me day in a slavery and I gone astray.
Samurai, man a fierce. Flex pan the devil with the spiritual muscle. Warfare with the demon, them we a tussle. Jadep on one side, Satan I get defeat. They got great for with enemies, grab a shovel. Get them all the shirt off, fire back, them still I love you. Bite the hand we feed them, turn round and them a cuss you. Never get a chance to do it again, me learn me lesson. Just because me smell up with a boy, no mean me trust you. Dream and I pray for better days. Can't come around way if you're stuck in all your ways. Parasite, them can't elevate. Them not really with it, them just going to our fears. Man a be shot to the feet, put on the armor, the procedure complete. Me nah go back, nah retreat. All traitors, every Jezebel must get delete. Me no sleep on a demon, me keep a full clip. Conspire me downfall, cause them wants to me slave. Stay close to the real ones, we seal off and legit. Cause I gotta use them to keep your soul from the pit. This a war life, I saw the damn thing said. Man I start to the east, me no have no regret. That walk you perilous, you better watch how you step. If you loyal, eternal life you a get.
Dream me a dream for better days. Pray me a pray for Jah fi pass my way. Oh please won't you come to save me from my misery. Too long me day in a slavery and I gone astray. So me say Jah, me beg you for your mercy. Jah, won't you please come rescue me. Jah, you are the king of kings. Me say Jah, come down Saddam and Babylon. Jah, save your people Israel. Jah, stop the pain and suffering. Jah, me tired of this slavery. Jah, won't you hear my cry today? Dream me a dream for better days. Pray me a pray for Jah fi pass my way. Oh please won't you come to save me from my misery. Too long me day in a slavery and I gone astray.
When you know about hard life, blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice. No money and you can't pay your bills. Living in a poverty no nice. Living in a poverty no nice. You know nice. Be within a sardine and rice. White rice. House full of roach and mice. Minimum wage can't suffice.
Dream me a dream for better days. Pray me a pray for Jah fi pass my way. Oh please won't you come to save me from my misery. Too long me day in a slavery and I gone astray.
Yeah, man.
So we not take no long talk from the dogs. Cause man are raving in wolves. Chief of his sound the alarm. Sound it. Cause man are raving in. Man are raving. Listen we not take no talk from the dogs. Cause man are raving in wolves. Chief of his sound the alarm. Sound it up. Cause man are raving. Man are raving. If you know man are raving. Man are raving. Raving. Man are raving. You know man are raving. Man are raving. Raving. Man are raving. You know raving. Man are raving. Many are caught, you getting saving. You know, say man, I've been straight from the basement. Money on the mission, and we concentrating. No me, touch the road, no hesitating. Everything get a fire when we hit the pavement. Me see no black, never meditating.
Yo, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. How you all doing, man? You're tuning to another week of the Raven and Wolves radio show. Raven. Cause we are raving, man are raving. Raving, man, a raving. Say, we are raving, man, a raving, raving. Raving, man, a raving. Man, ravening as a wolf. We prophesying here on the Raven and Wolves radio show. Yeah, man. So, hey, y'all don't know. You understand? So, hey, today I got a good show to put together for y'all. I'm going to go into some geopolitical prophecies. All right, I'm going to show you all what's going on in France right now concerning the civil unrest and so forth. And I'm going to also touch on France's exploitation of Africa. Okay, so these are the things I'm going to touch on today. All right? Okay, so everybody stay tuned. Y'all already know. We're going to get it in. All right? Okay, I know those of y'all that was able to tune in last week, you all saw me transform into Deacon Malafire. I'm not gonna transform into Deacon Malafire. You know what I mean? When I gotta go heavy, that's the only when I gotta go into ultra instinct, which is spirit mode. Just let the spirit take over. When I'm going into some heavy stuff, that's the only time you're gonna see that other guy. But right now you're dealing with Deacon Malakaya. Fire! Okay? All right, so so before I go into the topic, there's some things I want to touch on. Before I go into the topic, some things I want to touch on. Let me see. Okay, this weekend we went to the O Block. You know, we went to Chirac, IUIC. We had boots on the ground in Chirac in Chicago, the O Block. You know, I know a lot of y'all be hearing about, we got, where all them rappers come, like King Vaughn, you know, that dude that they just killed, all right? You got Little Dirk, you got Chief Keef, you know, all these rappers that y'all so much look up to, they come from Old Block or that environment over there. You feel what I'm saying? And it's a lot of crime and there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of killing going on over there. So, the prophets of God say, you know what? Let's go reach our people in Old Block. Let's go to Chirac and wage war against all these demons that is possessing our brothers over there. All these monsters. You feel what I'm saying? So shout out to all you men that made it to Chicago, that made it over there. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Okay? So bam, I want to show some footage of brothers over there on Old Block or in Chirac, okay? In Chicago. Okay, this work don't stop, Israel. It doesn't stop. We don't stop. Okay? So play that video for me, man.
Dangerous out here, man. If they from here, don't come here. Please don't. It's real. It's hectic.
Hinds County deputies seized approximately 7 pounds of marijuana, guns.
Jackson police are working to solve a double murder. Detectives found 2 bodies on Redmond Avenue.
An armed robbery occurred late Saturday night at this gas station on West.
Say residents in the area say they heard gunshots around 10 or 11 Saturday night, but didn't think much of it.
Shots were fired and at least 1 person injured. In Jackson,
police say there were shots fired into a house in the 3000 block of
the area say they heard gunshots around 10.
What they fight for? Tell me what they fight for. All money and drugs, that's what it was. That's what you died for. Cook it up in the kitchen like sinners. That's what you striving for. You trap. Come trap your bitch.
But this is what we need, young black men. See, I'm old now. I can't do it. We need young black men. Take the helm and take over. It's wonderful.
All praise to the Most High. So shout out to all you brothers that went to O Block, that was out there in Chicago, reaching out to our brothers that's over there, okay, in the city of Chicago, that's smitten with violence and murders and so forth. Okay, shout out to you brothers, all you brothers that put your life on the line that went over there, man. All you brothers that say, listen, I'm going to do what I got to do to reach out my people, reach out to my people. Okay, so bam, let's see the other video. Let's see the other video.
guns. We ain't scared of y'all with your damn guns. We don't teach the word of God. You better wake up, repent, and keep the commandments of God. Brothers, they scared of the young men. A lot of our older brothers are scared of the young men. Us older brothers, we must be leaders of the community.
All praise, all praises. So yo, all praise to the Most High. So yesterday we hit O Block up and brothers brought forth the word with power and strength, man. All praises to the Most High, man. Now, let me tell you all something. As everybody know, like 2 weeks ago, one of our brothers got shot doing the work. He got shot 6 times doing the work of the Most High. And I know that brother right now, he's there, you know, recouping, and he got joy in his heart just seeing brothers out there still pushing, man. Okay, all praises, for real. So, yo, so let me read this one scripture, man. Y'all remember what the Yahya's was saying? A lot of people were saying, oh, you IUIC, what you're doing is wrong. You're not supposed to be on the street. You're not supposed to be going in the hood and teaching the Bible and all of that. Listen, man, we going to obey God rather than man. We ain't listening to none of y'all, man. Right. Okay, now let's show you all in the scripture what God command us to do. All right, and what you see brothers did on O Block, what brothers is doing out there in Chicago, what we did this weekend. Let me show you all in the scriptures. Read what I want, Ezekiel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, read that for me.
Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 9.
Scripture. Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll.
Eat this roll. The roll is the Bible. When the Lord says to eat the roll, it meaning to learn the Bible. Okay, read on.
And go speak unto the house of Israel.
And once you eat that roll or you learn the Bible, God commands us to go teach that Bible. Teach what you have learned. Teach it to who? Teach it to the children of Israel, your people. Okay, read on.
So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll.
Read on.
And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee.
Read on.
Then did I eat it.
Then did I eat it. Read on.
And it was in my mouth as honey.
And in the mouth, when you eat this, when you learn this gospel in your mouth, it's like honey, meaning it's sweet. When you read about the blessing and you read about the promises that God have set up for those of us that keep his commandments, it's sweet. You're like, we gonna live forever? We gonna rule this earth? Okay, it's sweet in your mouth, but read on.
And it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Read on.
And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel.
So he tell him to do what?
Go, get thee unto the house of Israel.
So God command him saying, listen, when he done eat it, meaning he learned this, he learned the role, he learned the gospel, the Lord tell him to do what?
Get thee unto the house of Israel.
God says to go to the house of Israel. Where is the house of Israel? Who are the children of Israel? Okay, you know what? Go to Isaiah 3 and then we're going to jump back there. Isaiah 3 and I think it's verse 12. I'm going to give you some characteristics concerning the house of Israel, which is the children of Israel. Some characteristics of them today for us to know what kind of state of mind that the children of Israel is in today. Okay, read that for me.
The book of Isaiah chapter 3 verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors.
So God says his people, which is the Israelites, who is oppressing them. Read it again.
Children are their oppressors.
So according to the prophecies, according to the scriptures, the children of Israel, God people, their kids gonna be oppressing them. Okay, doesn't you all see that in Chirac? Doesn't you all see that in Chicago on the O Block? Yeah. Who is committing all the crimes, the robbing, the stealing, and killing each other? It's 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids doing them crimes, yo. You got King Vaughn. Okay, he ended up getting killed, but just him, he had at least a couple buddies under his belt, meaning a couple young men that he took their life. You feel what I'm saying? So the violence is crazy in Chicago. It's crazy over there in the O Block. And God command us to go get ye unto the children of the captivity. Where is the children of the captivity? They are in these ghettos. You understand? Ghettos like where? Like the old block. Okay? So God command us to go there. Okay? Go back. Jump back.
Ezekiel.
No, finish reading that again. Finish reading that.
As for my people, children are their oppressors.
Because our children, they join these gangs, GDs, gangster disciples, Crips, Bloods, okay, Latin Kings. They join these gangs and they oppress us. They rob and they steal and they murder their own people. That's what they do. So that's what we're reading about here. When God says, as for my people, children is their oppressors. It's talking about these young gang members. Read on.
And women rule over them.
And the woman is ruling over God people, over the men. All right? And that's why you see there's a lot of single family household in the black community, because the women and them, they have that spirit where they want to rule over their men. And they are chasing the men out of the household, okay? They have that independent spirit where they are saying, we could do this on our own. We don't need a man. That's what's taking place. Read on.
Oh, my people.
Read on.
They which lead thee.
They that lead thee, meaning the woman that lead thee, that raise up these kids. Read on.
Cause thee to err.
They cause the men to err by following Christianity and following all kind of foolishness, and they cause the kids to err. You understand? Because when a woman raises kids, a woman cannot raise kids on their own. When a woman raises these kids, the kids grow up to be monsters. Okay, from there, jump back to where you was at.
Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 3.
Read.
And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat.
Read on.
And fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee.
Read on.
Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Read on.
And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel.
So the Lord commanded him to go get thee unto the house of Israel. Read on.
And speak with my words unto them.
And speak my words unto them. Unto who? The house of Israel. Read on.
For thou art not sent to a people of strange speech.
Read on.
And of a hard language.
Read on.
But to the house of Israel.
Read on.
Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language.
So that's showing you who God sent the prophets to teach and speak to. Read on.
Whose words thou canst not understand.
Read on.
Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee.
Read on.
But the house of Israel.
But the house of Israel, read on.
Will not hearken unto thee.
So God letting us know everybody's not going to listen to us. All right? When we go in the hood and in the ghettos, everybody's not going to listen to us. Some people going to be angry. They're going to be mad. They're going to say, we don't want you all here, and so forth and so on. Like these yayas. Read on.
For they will not hearken unto thee.
Read on.
For all the house of Israel are impudent.
They are impudent. Read on.
And hard-hearted.
And they are hard-hearted. They hard-headed. Our people doesn't like to listen. Okay? From the men, to the woman, to the kids. Okay? Read on.
Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces.
Christ said, listen, when you go to speak to them, Christ said, listen, make your face what?
Strong against their faces.
Why does the Bible say to make your face strong against their faces? Because of Isaiah 3 and 12. As for my people, children is their oppressors. Okay, because a lot of these gang members, they come and they with their gun and they hard face, thinking that going to intimidate the prophets. They roll up on you with the screw face like, yo, son, what you doing here, son? Like, yo, son, this is my blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? I want to make their face hard at us and all of that. Want to threaten us. You know how much situation dudes try rolling on us and running us off of blocks? And I ain't talking about black Hebrew Israelites. I'm talking about the GDs. I'm talking about a lot of these gang members. And when they realize that we ain't that type of brother, we ain't them type of brothers, them brothers, they had to back down. You feel what I'm saying? It happened in Philly, okay? It happened in Kansas the other day too, with the brothers out there in Kansas. You know the what you call it? I think was one of them gangs in the community. They came forth and were talking crap, and brothers talked to them and showed them bam bam bam. This is what we here for, you know what I mean? And the gang members, they understood, they backed down, if you know what I'm saying. Okay? So God says to make our face harder than their face. Okay? He's letting us know the people that we're dealing with, the state of mind that they're going to be in. You can't go to them with Jesus' love. Jesus love you, my brother. Please repent. No. You got to go to them with a hard face and tell them, thus says the Lord. You need to change your ways. Right. Although destruction is coming here to America. Stop killing each other. Stop murdering each other. Stop selling drugs to each other. You Negroes need to repent. And you need to make your face hard. You understand? You need to put that mean grill on. You understand? You need to make your face hard in dealing with them. This is what God commanded Ezekiel to do. And the same thing he commanded Ezekiel is the same thing for all of us. You understand? Read on.
Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces.
Read on.
And thy forehead strong against their foreheads.
And our mind is stronger than their mind. Okay, read on.
As an adamant, harder than flint, have I made thy forehead.
Read on.
Fear them not.
What God says?
Fear them not.
Why God told Ezekiel, don't fear them? Because they're going to come with that mean face. They're going to try to intimidate you. They're going to try to do violence to you. God says, don't fear them. Read on.
Neither be dismayed at their looks.
Don't be dismayed. Don't be worried at their looks. They piecing up their face and puffing up their face and, yo, son, what I told you, son, I told you I don't want you wrong. You're screwing up their face like, yo, man, yo. You know, they on that demon time thing. God says, listen, don't worry about their face. Don't be dismayed at their face. Don't be scared when they come at you in that way. Read on.
Though they be a rebellious house.
They are rebellious. That's what God said here. So you'll understand what we're dealing with. Read on.
Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee.
Everything that's written in this Bible, read on.
Receive in thine heart.
Receive in our mind, brothers, read on.
And hear with thine ears.
And hear with our ears, read on.
And go.
And do what?
And go.
And go where?
Get thee to them of the captivity.
Unto them of the captivity. That's the 12 tribes of Israel. You children of the slave trade. That's who we coming to. We ain't going to Esau. We going to you.
Right.
We coming, we looking for you. You understand? And tell you what the Lord says. And some of y'all going to change, and some of y'all would not change. Okay? So, from there, let's get off. So all praises to the Most High. Brothers went out there in Chirac. Brothers went out there on Old Block. And brothers shut the place down. You feel what I'm saying? You know what? Let me get that in Ezekiel. And they stood up on their feet, a great exceeding army. Now let me tell you all something. The prophets and them, they saw the future. And they saw Israel rising up. Okay? They saw the decay state of Israel rising up here in America. Okay? Read that for me.
Ezekiel chapter 37 verse 10.
So Ezekiel saw the Israelites rising up in the last days. And I want you all to see the description of what he saw. Read that for me.
So I prophesied as he commanded me.
So Ezekiel prophesied. So when the Lord tell Ezekiel go to the children of the captivity, you all think was just should I go there? I should have gone on fire mode, man. Yeah, should I go?
Just a little.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you all something. When the Lord tell Ezekiel, go ye unto the children of the captivity and tell them, thus says the Lord. It was not just talking about in that time. You feel what I'm saying?
Drop the bomb, man.
It's not just talking about that time. You feel me? It's also talking about this time.
That's right.
The children of the captivity, all you Negroes, Hispanics that have been scattered in slavery, show the four corners of the earth. Okay? But read that for me.
So I prophesied.
So Ezekiel saw our people here in America. You understand? He saw our people here destroyed, forgot their nationality, forgot their identity, their language, everything. Ezekiel said, they are like dry bones. You understand? The valley of dry bones. Our people is destroyed. So Ezekiel said, he start prophesying, read on.
As he commanded me.
As he commanded me, letting you know Ezekiel is what? He's here in the last days. Okay, so he said, when he started prophesying, what happened?
And the breath came into them.
Breath came into them, read on.
And they lived.
And they lived, read on.
And stood up upon their feet.
And they stood up on their feet. This is Israel waking up to the truth of who they are. When it says that they live, they start learning God's laws. Okay? So guess what? Ezekiel was here. I don't know who he was, or I don't know if he came and gone or what. You know what I mean? Or if he's still here. But the Bible says as he prophesied, they stood upon their feet. Read on.
An exceeding great army.
You all understand that? That army begins now.
That's right.
You understand? That army begins when you look around in society today. Which army you see? In the streets of Old Block, in the streets of Detroit. You know, what army have you, what army are you seeing? What did Ezekiel saw? What did Ezekiel saw? Let me get another picture, man. Let me get another picture. What did Ezekiel saw with that army, man? You know, what did Ezekiel saw? What he saw. Give me some more images. What did he saw? Put that up. Let's flip them through. Yeah, man. What did he saw? What did he saw? He saw a group of men assembled together like an army. What did he saw? This is what he saw, brothers and sisters. Keep going, keep going. Let me see what else you got there. I want like the marching or something like that. Yeah, that's what he saw. He saw rank and order. He saw order. He saw men marching. He saw men. You understand what I'm saying? This is that army that he saw. He saw us, brothers. Ezekiel saw us.
That's right.
Yo, he saw that, not a physical army, but that spiritual army.
Come on.
You feel what I'm saying? Ezekiel saw Israel rising up in the last days. Okay? So from there, no. Okay, let me jump off of this. I really want to jump. I want to deal with France. I want to deal with France. So the topic I'm going in today is France exploitation of Africa. Okay, so it's some things I want to touch on when it comes to France. Dealing with France. Okay, let me see. France exploitation of Africa. A lot of times when we go into the scriptures, we forget to go into France. Like France is part of the beast. Okay, a lot of times we just be bringing out stuff concerning America. You know what I mean? But we're going to touch on France today. Okay, so what I want you all to do, I want you to play video. Let me see. Video number 1. Let me see what's number 1. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, video number 1. Play that. And then you play number 2 after that.
The French government has said it is considering all options, including declaring a state of emergency after a third night of escalating violence and rioting in cities and towns across France. Hundreds of police were injured last night and more than 900 people arrested. Ministers asked for public transport across France tonight to be suspended, and some major events have been cancelled as the government tries to stop scenes like this taking place for the 4th night running. The protest began in a Paris suburb on Tuesday when a police officer shot dead a 17-year-old boy of North African descent during a traffic stop in Nanterre. Footage of the shooting was posted online. The unrest quickly spread across France, fueled by accusations of police racism and wider discrimination against minority communities. Around 45,000 police officers have now been deployed on the streets. From Paris, here's our Europe editor, Katya Adler.
Paris, supposed to be the city of love, is exploding again into hateful confrontation. Riot police versus angry youths, many under the age of 18. There's talk the French government may be forced to call a state of emergency. In the meantime, France's president today urged parents to keep youngsters at home, while he sent more police onto the streets. But those youngsters aren't listening. Last night, the violence spread to flashpoints across the country. Town halls, schools, public buildings seen to represent the state of France have all been targeted. There was looting too in central Paris. In the Mediterranean city of Marseille, the state library was attacked. The UK and the US have now issued travel advice for their citizens visiting France.
Les choses sont beaucoup plus profondes.
They're right to be cautious, independent journalist Shaheen told me. He grew up in the Paris suburbs, documenting what he says is daily police aggression. He predicts the riots will only grow this weekend. Anger is at boiling point, he insists. With the country on a knife edge, French politics is at its most poisonous.
Okay, so France is burning. Paris is burning right now. Okay, there's riots, civil unrest going on in France right now. Okay, France is burning. Okay, what I'm about to show you all today, I'm going to show you all. First, I'm going to touch on what's going on over there in France with the civil unrest. I'm going to touch on that in the scriptures. Then I'm going to touch on France's exploitation of Africa. Okay, so what's going on over there? You know, what's going on in France? What's going on, bourgeois? Oh, man. So what's going on over there? Let's see the other video. Yeah, man. Let me give you a little more insight on what's going on.
In this video, we will try to understand what is happening in France. As you may have seen in the news, there are ongoing riots and protests in France, particularly against the government and especially against the French police. The incident I'm referring to took place on June 27th in the capital city of Paris. A 17-year-old boy named Nahel Marzouk was killed by the French police.
Pause.
This police should...
Pause. So this dude that was killed, this young teenager, he was only 17. Okay, so he was killed by the French police officers. Okay, he was killed by them, and if you all could see, he's an Arab. You understand? He is an Arab. Okay, keep on playing.
Thing occurred at around 9 a.m. As you may have seen, the police set up checkpoints and conduct vehicle checks in many places, which is a routine protocol. The 17-year-old boy was working as a delivery boy. It is being said that despite police's instructions, he did not stop his vehicle and he was on high speed. Due to this, the French police fired shots at him, and according to the police, they did so out of fear that the boy might ram his vehicle into someone else. I should also mention that a similar incident has happened before.
Pause.
If you recall the truck...
Pause. When you look into it, the account that the police officers give was they lied and so forth. Okay, they lied when you look into it. Okay, I'm not gonna play that video because of time, but the police officers lied and so forth. Okay, they didn't have to shoot and kill that Arab, that young 17-year-old Arab dude, that Arab kid. Okay, but I'm gonna show you all some things. Keep on playing.
Incident from 2016. On July 14th, a truck driver intentionally drove his truck into a crowd, resulting in the death of 86 people and injuring 434 others. To avoid such incidents from happening again, the French police fired shots at the 17-year-old boy, which led to his death. As a result of this incident, people have been protesting and causing riots on the streets of various cities in France for the past 3 to 4 days. So that was a brief understanding of what is happening in France.
So people been rioting and causing, burning buildings down and so forth in France. No. Who is these people that's doing this? Yo, come on, brethren. Yo. So we gonna touch on who is the people that's rising up and doing this in France. Okay, I'm gonna show you all some prophecies. I'm gonna show you all some things that the Bible says concerning what you all see taking place in France right now. Okay, keep on playing. Let me see if I need some more stuff over there.
Yeah, it's 12 minutes, so
Okay. So go back.
That if you're not comfortable hearing the truth or sensitive information, then please refrain from watching this video. Now let's begin with the discussion. First of all, when you hear the name of this 17-year-old boy, what do you think about his origin? It definitely does not sound like a French name. So let me provide you with some information. This boy is originally from Algeria. Let me show you on the map where Algeria is located.
So he's
Algeria is one of the
He's an Arab. He's from Algeria.
African countries located in the northern part of the African continent. In this country, 97% of the population follows Sunni Islam.
So he is
the point I'm making.
So he Islamic. Oh, okay. Let's see. Y'all see. I want you all to pay attention. It's riots going on in France. Riots. What's going on? I'm going to show you all in the Bible prophecies. Keep on playing.
That this 17-year-old boy is not a Christian. He is a Muslim of Algerian descent. Now, some of you may be wondering, why am I bringing up religion? Religion is not being introduced unnecessarily, but rather a comprehensive point-to-point explanation is being provided, which also includes religion, so that you can be well informed. Now, you may be wondering, how did this boy come to France, alone or with his family from Algeria? Let me inform you that this boy doesn't have a father. He resides in Paris, France with his mother. Now here is a statistic that will give you an estimate of the number of immigrants from Algeria and France today. Currently, the number of immigrants coming from Algeria to France is above 5 lakhs, that is 500,000. You have to understand that people have been migrating from Algeria to France since the 1980s and even much before that, because France is usually their first option. Back then the number was low. However, in recent years...
So they say over 500,000 people migrated from what time? 2019. 500,000. That's from, I think was 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But 500,000 is a lot. Okay, and that's just from Algeria. But you got people that migrated from Libya, from the Sahara, from Morocco. You got crazy Muslims living there in Paris in the millions. You got millions of Muslims living there in Paris. So keep on playing.
Especially after 2012, a significant number of people have migrated from Middle Eastern, Northern African Muslim countries to Europe. I have made a video on this subject called European Refugee Crisis. If you would like, you can watch that video once and it will help you to understand the reasons behind the migration and how it all happened. Have a look at this map. These are the main migration routes that witnessed the arrival of the highest number of migrants and refugees in Europe. These refugees came from countries that were severely affected by armed conflicts, like the Syrian civil war from 2011 to present, then war in Afghanistan from 2001 to 2021, then Iraqi conflict from 2003 to 2011, then war in South Sudan, that is from 2013 to 2020, then Somalian civil war from 2009 to present, and then Arab Spring from 2010 to 2012. As you can see, some of these armed conflicts are still going on. As a result, the citizens of these war-affected countries do not see any point in staying in war-torn societies and hence have decided to move to European countries in the hope of a better life.
So you all see that. I want you all to see this is all God's plan. America and Europe, they are causing civil unrest and conflicts in the Middle East. And the citizens of these countries is fleeing to Europe, fleeing to France, Greece, America and other countries. And they are settling there and living there. You all understand what I'm saying? I want you all to pay attention to that because that's very important to the scriptures that I'm going to bring out. Okay, keep on playing.
Opportunity. If you see, these conflicts are caused by the Western countries, which also includes European countries. And as a gesture, Europe has also opened its door for them. Now, I don't know when this 17-year-old boy Nahil and his mother arrived in France. This information can be obtained from the French Immigration Office or relevant authorities. But currently there is no information available on the internet regarding this specific case. But suppose, if you can find out how many years this boy and his mother have been in France, then a very important question arises from this. If you have been in France for 5, 10 or 20 years, or maybe more than that, don't you have any understanding of the laws and policies of that country? And I would also like to inform you that in France, if you want a driving license, you must be at least 18 years old. And this boy was only 17 years old. He was not eligible to have a driving license. It has also been reported that this boy had been the subject of as many as 5 police checks since 2021, where he refused to comply with an order to stop. Hence, we can easily come to this conclusion that he did not stop the car because he was afraid of getting fined by the police or facing some legal consequences. To avoid this, he accelerated the car. And if you see, this is wrong. And this is also not the right thing to do. Now, there are a few who would say, if he doesn't work, how will he eat? How will he sustain his home? These concerns hold no meaning because there are various types of jobs available in society. Additionally, before undertaking any work, one must understand that it should not violate any law of the land. This is the most important aspect to consider. So clearly, driving shouldn't have been his job in the first place. He should have taken up some other job. Now, there is a French politician named Olivier Faure. He is a socialist leader. Now keep that in mind. And he said, a refusal to stop doesn't give you a license to kill. The reason I have shown this particular politician's comment is because in the end I will explain the political angle behind this entire issue. Now, if you look at the statement made by this politician, what he said is absolutely correct. And I'm not denying that. But in the same breath, you also have to acknowledge that the police in any country don't intentionally shoot at people without reason. Police officers are also human beings. They have families and have reputation to uphold.
I want to watch that whole thing. Jump forward a little. Yeah.
The issue behind this entire incident is to magnify it, portray it as an institutional racism issue to the world. If you remember, the Black Lives Matter narrative happened in America, and the same narrative is also being amplified in France. And I can say that this narrative will further spread in other European countries as well. The reason I'm looking at these two issues side by side is because if you remember when the Black Lives Matter narrative was going on in America, alongside the protests, there were instances of looting and vandalism in many stores. A lot of public and private properties were destroyed. Now the same pattern is being seen in France. Protesters are looting banks, burning public vehicles, and astonishingly, even the city's prominent library was set on fire. Now, this incident personally reminded me of the Nalanda University. Islamic invader Bhaktiar Khilji demolished and burned.
Alright, so take that off. So what you all see taking place, they are comparing what's going on in France to the Black Lives Matter. Yeah. Okay? What I see behind this, something is behind it. Somebody's behind this. They're causing civil unrest. Right. Okay, now, I know God is ultimately behind it. God says it's going to happen, and I'm going to touch on that. Right. But something is brewing over there in France. I'm telling you all, to control the population, to control the people, something is brewing. Okay, but I want to let me touch on some scriptures to show you what's taking place. Go to 2nd Ezra 9:1 and read that for me. 2nd Ezra 9:1.
2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 1.
Scripture! Loaded!
He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
So measure the time diligently in itself, you know?
And when thou seest part of the signs pass.
So when you see part of the signs pass, the signs is what? The signs is the signs that the Lord been telling him about the wars, the rumors of wars. You know, the signs is what you see going on in France right now. Okay, read on.
And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before,
read on.
Then shalt thou understand.
Then you're going to understand what?
That it is the very same time.
It is the very same time. Read on.
Wherein the highest will begin.
So the Lord going to begin. Read on.
To visit the world.
Read on.
Which he made.
So God, what you see going on, God is beginning to visit the earth, the world that he have made. Okay? Now, it's angels all over the earth causing things to happen. I want you all to understand. Angels is activating the children of Israel is waking up. We have woken up to the truth of who we are, and the gospel is spreading. And the angels is activating certain things on the earth to issue in World War III. You all understand that? Well, you all understand? No, we don't.
Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes.
When there shall be seen earthquakes, read on.
And uproars.
And what?
And uproars.
And uproars.
Of the people.
Of the people. Read on.
In the world.
In the world. Read on.
Then shalt thou well understand.
Then shall you understand. So there is uproar in France right now. Last year or year before, there were uproar in America. Black Lives Matter. Okay? All right? So the Bible says when you see these things, you're going to understand. You're going to understand what? That the time is also, that the Lord have begun to visit this earth that he have created. Hope you all understand. Okay, so we see what's going on in France. Guess what? What's going on in France is going to happen in Greece. It's going to happen here in America again. It's going to happen in all these European countries that have Arabs and have people of different ethnicity living amongst them. It's going to happen. Okay? So you all pay attention. What we see happening in France is prophesied in the Bible. The Bible said there are going to be uproars amongst the people. Read it again one more time.
Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes.
Read on.
And uproars of the people.
And uproars of the people. Read on.
In the world.
In the world. Read on.
Then shalt thou well understand.
Read on.
That the Most High spake of those things.
So God spoke of those things. He spoke about uproars amongst the people, wars, rumors of wars. You all see what's going on in Russia right now. There's many wars going on the earth right now that a lot of y'all don't even pay attention to. It's not televised on the news. Okay? So God says, listen, that let us know what? These is signs that letting us know that the Lord is have begun visiting the earth which he have created. Right. How is he visiting the earth? The angels coming down on the earth and doing things.
Right.
And setting things up. That's how the Lord visiting the earth. He's sending forth his angels to do this, to do that. You know, put a spirit on my sons and my daughters. Let them teach the gospel. You know what I mean? And there's angels holding back that destruction too, holding back the four winds of the earth, meaning those armies, those nuclear armies. Okay, so that's the time we're living in, brothers. Okay, read on.
And it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee.
Read on.
Even from the beginning.
Even from the beginning, the Lord speak of those things. Okay, the wars, the rumors of wars, the civil unrest, uprising that you all see going on in France. Read on.
For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end.
Read on.
And the end is manifest.
The end is manifest. Read on.
Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and ending in effects and signs.
So the ending of this world gonna come in what?
Effects and signs.
Effects and signs. The signs and the effects is what? Earthquakes, wars, rumors of wars, nations fighting against each other, sicknesses, diseases, right? Okay, uproars like what you see going on in France,
right?
Uproars, civil unrest, okay, people rising up against their government. Right. These is the things that are going to be taking place, letting us know what? The signs of the times, letting us know that the Lord have begun to visit this earth that he have created. Okay? Now, from there, I want to show you all something. Go to Daniel 2:44. Okay? No, Daniel 2:40. Now, a lot of times, you all see when you all look in Europe, right? When you look in Europe, there is Arabs over there. There is our people also living over there. There is Chinese over there. There's many different nations living over there, but I want to focus on the Arabs. Okay, on Ishmael. Okay, and there's a reason why I'm going to focus on Ishmael, because I'm going to show you what the Bible prophecy says concerning France, Greece, and Britain, and all these nations when it comes to Ishmael. Okay? Now read that for me.
Daniel.
Not just Ishmael, but all nations. Read on.
Daniel chapter 2 verse 40.
Scripture. Loaded.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. This fourth kingdom is talking about, it began with Rome, and we are in the end of this fourth kingdom, which is America and the European Union. Okay? Yo, pull up the can you find the image with the 7 heads and 10 horns? Can you find that for me? So read it again.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
Read on.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And so, whereas thou
it's gonna break in pieces and bruise. Who will this fourth kingdom break in pieces and bruise? All nations.
Right.
You understand? It started with Rome and even up to today. Okay, the European Union and America have conquered all nations on the earth and bruised them. You know, but China is a superpower. You better go back in history and saw what Great Britain did to China.
Right.
You know, the Boxer War, you know what I mean? That's what I think it was called.
The Boxers' Rebellion.
Boxers' Rebellion, yeah. They forced drugs in them and all of that. What? Right. Go into the history. All right, read on.
Verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay.
So the feet and the toes is the end of this fourth beast. All right, that's why it starts with the leg, which is iron, and it go all the way down to the feet and the toes. The feet and the toes is talking about who? It's talking about the European Union and America. That's the feet and the toes. All right, as you all can see the feet. Okay, it began with Rome. Rome fell. When you go into the prophecies, it says in Revelation 13, Rome came back. And say, okay, so the feet and the toes. The toes, how much toes? How much toes we got there? 10 toes, right? Those 10 toes is going into those same 10 horns, right, which I'm going to show you on. Okay, so the 10 toes, the feet, the 10 toes, we don't read it again.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and 10 toes.
So we're dealing with the feet and the 10 toes. The feet and the 10 toes is the last rulers of this fourth beast. Okay, so we're going to tell you what's going to happen in the last kingdom. The last part of this fourth beast. Read on.
Part of potter's clay and part of iron.
So the feet is not just full iron. It have clay in the midst of it. Y'all understand? There is clay in between the feet. It's made up of iron and clay. Okay, and the feet represent, as I said, the feet represent who? The 10 horns, which is Europe and America. That's who the feet represent. They didn't mention America here. Why? Because America came from Europe. You understand? So Daniel put all of them in one. America came from Great Britain. Okay, they fought Great Britain for their independence. Okay, America, the citizens of America, the pilgrims and all of them, they came from Europe. Okay, so those 10, so that's why it just says 10. It then says 10. But when you read Daniel 7, it explains a little horn that came from these 10. Okay? All right, so read it again.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron,
read on.
The kingdom shall be divided.
So according to the prophecy, the last kingdom, okay, put the image up back on the screen. The last kingdom, the last part of this fourth kingdom gonna be divided. Okay, gonna be divided. Read on.
But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron.
And when it says there shall be in it the strength of the iron is talking about their military strength. Okay, it's talking about NATO. All right, that's their military alliance that they have where nobody could mess with them. NATO. Okay, so in that feet down there, NATO was formed in the in 1940 something, 48, somewhere around there. All right, so NATO was founded, and that's the strength of the iron. But that's the strength of the iron. Their military advancement, their military technology. They are able to create weapons of mass destruction. Okay, but keep on reading.
For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
So the iron mixing with clay, we're going to explain what that's talking about. Read on.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay.
So the toes was part of iron and part of clay, meaning those kings, those nations, okay, Europe, they are part of iron and part of clay. What does that mean? Keep on reading.
So the kingdom shall be partly strong.
The kingdom shall be military strong, read on.
And partly broken.
And partly divided or broken. Why? Read on.
Whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay.
You see the iron mixed with clay, read on.
They shall mingle themselves.
This is letting you know what that fourth kingdom, which is Edom, the so-called white man, what they gonna do. All right, this is letting you know what Europe, the European Union, which is France, Britain, and all of these 10 horns gonna do. They're gonna do what?
They shall mingle themselves.
They shall mingle themselves, you know,
with the seed of men.
With the seed of men. If you go to Britain, you're going to find Chinese over there. You're going to find a bunch of Arabs over there. You're going to find East Indians over there. All nations is not just in America. Okay, you go to Britain, you go to France, is many different nations living there. The Prime Minister of France is what? He's an East Indian. The Prime Minister of France is an East Indian. That's his race. You feel what I'm saying? So because you have multinational ethnicities living in France, living in Britain, living in all these nations of these 10 toes, that's what the clay is. Okay, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Even living here in America, you have people of different ethnicity and so forth. That whole position of government, that whole position of power and so forth and so on. The Bible says because of that, they're not going to be divided. I mean, they're not going to be united. They're going to be divided. Okay? So why I went to this is to show you all what. You all see what's taking place in France. You see the uproar amongst the people. The people that's uproaring, that's upset. Guess who that people is? That people is those immigrants that migrated there from other countries. Those people is the minorities that's living in France. That's, they are the ones that rising up and burning stuff down. You feel what I'm saying? So the Bible says that they will not be united. I mean, they're going to be division in this last kingdom. Okay, and that division is going into what you all see taking place right now in France. That's what that division is going into. So it says what? Read it again.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Read on.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
So everybody is not going to come together and be like we are one. In France, the Arabs is not going to come together with the Caucasian race. And the East Indians is not going to come together with the Caucasian race and the Arabs and say, we all are one people. It's not going to happen. Y'all understand? It's not going to happen. Okay? The same way how clay and iron don't mix. Okay? It's the same way they are not going to mix over there. Okay? You're going to have the so-called white Christians going to hate the Muslims. Okay? I don't know if y'all remember, but like 7-8 years ago, there were a lot of terrorist activity that was taking place in France. Okay, there was a lot of shootings, bombs, all type of crazy stuff was going on in France a couple years ago. Okay, guess what? That is going to increase again. These young teenagers that leave their country and went to France, they go to France and then they are over there. They are sons of terrorists. I want you all to understand that. A lot of these young Muslims over there, they are terrorists. Now let me tell you all something. And they over there in France while they're watching France and America bombing their nations. Their nation, their original nation that they're from. But I want to show you what the Bible says concerning that. Read it again one more time.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Read on.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
But they shall not cleave one to another. Meaning everybody's not going to be united. Okay? In France, in Britain, in America. Okay? There is going to be division. All right? Okay? From there, go to Habakkuk 2 and 4.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4.
Scripture. Loaded.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Read on.
But the just shall live by his faith.
But the just live by his faith. Talking about the Bible. Read on.
Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine.
Read on.
He is a proud man.
He is a proud man. Who this is talking about? This is talking about the Caucasian race. Read on.
Neither
the Bible. God says that his soul is not right in him. Read on.
Neither keep it at home.
Neither keep it at home. Now, a lot of time when we go into this, we just mention America. But America is not the only one that does not stay in their own land. Okay, friends never keep at home. Okay, which I will touch on with you all a little later on and show you all the evil that France did to Africa. Okay, read on.
Who enlargeth his desire as hell.
Who enlarged his desire as hell, read on.
And is as death.
And is like as death. Anywhere he go, death follow him. All right, this is talking about a certain nation of people, group of people. Read on.
And cannot be satisfied.
And he cannot be satisfied. Read on.
But gathereth unto him all nations.
But did what?
But gathereth unto him all nations.
Now, who did this? America did this, but guess who also doing this? France, Europe, the European Union. Y'all understand? Y'all see what I just showed, what we just saw early on? That them people that's rising up in France, they are what we're reading about here. The all people. God unto himself all people. Okay, read that again.
But gathereth unto him all nations.
Okay, read on.
And heapeth unto him all people.
All people. That goes back to Daniel 2 that we just read. That the clay shall mix with what? With the iron. And they not going to be one. They not going to, they shouldn't cleave one to another. Because the same way how clay don't mix with iron is the same way these people that is living in France and living in Europe, they are not going to mix with the Caucasian race. There will always be division. There will always be injustice. Okay? And that's just what it is. Okay? They will always be oppressed. The white man over there going to always value their life like nothing. There will be police shooting. There will be police abuse. You know? And it's going to cause civil unrest.
Right.
Okay? Read on.
Verse 6. Shall not all these...
Go back and read it again. We forgot some.
Verse 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell.
So enlarge the desire like hell. Read on.
And is as death.
Read on.
And cannot be satisfied.
And he can't satisfy. You can't satisfy the white man. Okay, read on.
But gathereth unto him all nations.
Read on.
And heapeth unto him all people.
That's why in Europe and America you're going to find all multi-ethnicity people living there. Okay, read on.
Shall not all these take up a parable against him?
So it says all these people that's living amongst who? Living amongst those 10 toes. That's living amongst Europe and America. They're going to pick up a parable against the government. You understand what I'm saying? Read on.
In a taunting proverb against him.
Read on.
And say, woe to him.
They're going to say, woe to him. They are speaking against the French government, the U.S. government, the Britain government. Okay, those 10 horns, those 10 toes, that's who they are speaking against. Read on.
Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
That increase that in that which is not him. Because let me tell you something about Europe and America. They gain their riches by robbing and stealing from other countries. And these same people from the other countries is going to their country and living in their country, running from the poverty and from the war and from the condition where the country is in. They're trying to get a better life. Okay, people went to France. Why? Because of the wars that France and these other countries caused in their region. So they can't live there no more. So they go to France, they go to America. Okay, like what you see just took place in Afghanistan. A lot of them came over here to America. Yep. Okay, and America willingly gave them visas. They stupid as hell. If I was a leader, I ain't bringing no damn terrorists in my country. You know what I mean? That show you it's God behind it. You know, so same thing with France, same thing with Greece and all these other countries, those 10 horns. Okay, the same people that they are oppressing, the same countries that they are robbing their resources from and causing civil unrest, these same people is going to their country and living there. You know what I'm saying? But read on, read it again. So read it again one more time.
Shall not all these take up a parable against him?
Read on.
And a taunting proverb against him?
Read on.
And say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
So read on.
How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
What is that thick clay that he laded himself with? Go back to Daniel 2. So he laden himself with thick clay. What is the thick clay he laden himself with? The thick clay is the verse above. The all people. Yes, that heap to himself all people. That's the thick clay. The thick clay is the Arabs, the Chinese, the East Indian.
Right.
That America and Europe have living amongst them. Read, go back to and read that in Daniel 2.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay.
The thick clay is the potter's clay. Read on.
And part of iron.
Read on.
The kingdom shall be divided.
Read on.
But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
The miry clay is the thick clay in Habakkuk. Read on.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay.
That's talking about the European Union. Read on.
So the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
And partly broken. Read on.
Whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay.
Read on.
They shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Habakkuk say they shall heap unto themselves all nations. Daniel say they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. It's saying the same thing. Europe and America gonna have all nations living amongst them. Okay, read on.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
But they not gonna come together as one. Thus says the Lord. Okay, now go back to Habakkuk and read that for me.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him?
The thick clay, that's it?
Yeah, that's the same verse.
Okay, read on.
And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Read on.
How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
That heaped to himself all nations. That's the thick clay. Read on.
Verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly?
Shall they not what?
Shall they not rise up suddenly?
You'll see what's taking place in France?
That's right.
What's taking place in France? You got the clays over there rising up. The thick clay rising up. You got the people of other nations there rise up. Because Europe and America have robbed and steal the resources and of course has caused wars and destroyed these people countries Okay, and they're going over there, and when they go over there, they're being oppressed same way. Okay, so what you see happening, read it again.
Shall they not rise up suddenly?
They're going to rise up suddenly, okay, in France, in London, okay, in Britain, okay. This multicultural thing that they got going on there where they heap onto themselves, all people, they're going to rise up suddenly. Read on.
That shall bite thee.
And they're going to be terrorist activity in France. They're going to be terrorist activity in America. They're going to be terrorist activity in Britain. Okay, in all these countries, these 10 horns. Okay, read on.
And awake that shall vex thee.
Why does it says awake? Because a lot of them is sleeper cells.
Right.
You understand? You're going to have Arabs that wake up. You understand? They're going to wake from sleep. Okay? And go and bite them. Meaning what? They're going to plant weapon bombs. They're going to bomb buildings. They're going to start fires. Okay? That's what you see going on in France right now. They are awakening and they are biting them.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? All these young teenagers, these young Muslim teenagers, they are waking up and they are biting them. Read it again.
Shall they not rise up suddenly? That shall bite thee.
That shall bite thee. Read on.
And awake.
And awake.
That shall vex thee.
That shall vex thee. What you see going on right now, the government in France, they are vexed. They are being vexed by who? By these young Arab kids that rising up and is fighting and burning down buildings and so forth for the injustice that they see took place to their brother over there in France. Okay, read on.
And thou shalt be for booties unto them.
Read on.
Because thou hast spoiled many nations.
Because thou have spoiled many nations. This is what I'm going to go into now. Because thou hast spoiled many nations. Read on.
All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee.
So now let's get into that. For thou hast spoiled many nations. Let's go into that. Let's go into that. Let's see. As I said, I'm dealing with France, right? I'm dealing with France. I'd send you a TikTok video. I want you to play that number 3. Number 3. Yeah, man. So let's get into it. For thou hast spoiled many nations.
This is a banknote from Senegal. Here is another from Congo. They look nothing like each other, yet they are part of the same scheme. A scheme that pegs both currencies to the euro, a rate determined by the French treasury. The issue at stake is the apex of French policymaking, the CFA franc. Using it, France controls the monetary sovereignty of 14 nations, making up nearly 200 million people. These countries include Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Ivory Coast, Mali, Niger, Senegal, Togo, and the Central African Republic.
Pause.
And while these nations have a
pause. So, remember what we just read. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, these nations gonna spoil thee. Now, what we see in here is, till this day, the franc dollar in Africa, all these African countries that you just see they mentioned there, every last one of them have to use the franc dollar. You understand? Like you see how the world, the IMF is set up and everybody got to go through the IMF and so forth to trade money and so forth, the World Bank. Africa can't do that. Africa got to go to France. You feel what I'm saying? Africa, these countries in Africa, they got to give their money to France. Okay, you want to trade on world economy? Okay, you got to give me your money. Okay, Africa don't have their own bank. They use franc. They use the franc money, and they use the franc, the France bank to store their money. That's what you're about to see right now. Okay? Keep on playing.
And while these nations have a seat at the United Nations and wave their independent flags, it is only the face of imperialism that has changed. The conduct of business has largely remained the same. The big difference is that imperialism used to be spread through tanks. Nowadays, it comes through banks. The most effective forms of control are those that are invisible. Recognizing this, in 1958, France hijacked authentic decolonization by installing local collaborators and granting them statehood. These collaborators became the...
So this is telling you how France spoiled Africa, what France is doing in Africa. Now all these countries France get in Africa, France set up a new form of imperialism, okay, where to control Africa resources, to control the money in Africa, okay? And he's going to show you what they did. It says that they put people there, and they set up people in these different countries, okay, so they could so they could control Africa. All right, keep on playing.
Custodians of France's neo-colonial empire by maintaining the Franc zone and French military bases. Only Guinea turned down the offer. Its leader, Sékou declared that his people preferred being poor in freedom than rich in slavery. Guinea thus rejected the CFA franc, seeking to develop its own currency.
Pause. So Frank tell all the countries, listen, you got to use my money, my currency, you know, and all the countries in Africa agreed except for Guinea. Okay, and let me tell you, this is still how it is today. All these countries, they have to use the France currency. All of them, they were forced to use the France currency, the same way how America forced the Arabs and them to use their currency to trade oil and so forth. I'm showing you all the same thing France have done to those African countries. Read on. Keep on playing.
Needed to make an example of Guinea, so it cut pensions to war veterans, dismantled Guinea's power grid, and then attempted to block its UN membership. France went as far as to induce hyperinflation by flooding the country with counterfeit bills, all the while funding armed anti-government resistance.
Pause.
It got
Pause. So you all see that. You see what France did to Guinea, because Guinea said they're gonna create their own currency and they don't wanna use the franc or French currency. What they did, they cut the power supply. If you know what I'm saying, they start sending fake money throughout the economy. You know, it's caused inflation in that country. It's not the same. Is not that the same thing that you see happen in Venezuela, the inflation and all of that? Yeah. Okay, they cause inflation in the country, right? Then they back military coups to try to destroy the government in that country.
Right.
Okay, they try destabilizing the government and that country. That's what they tried. That's what they not tried. That's what they did to Guinea. Yeah, that's right. Okay, but go back a couple seconds and play it again, man. Go back a couple seconds and play it again.
Inflation by flooding the country with counterfeit bills, all the while funding armed anti-government resistance. Yeah, it got pretty crazy.
Pause. So they was funding terrorists. Okay, for real. Read on. Keep on playing.
Ultimately failed to dislodge Sékou, but Guinea's economy never fully recovered. Likewise, when Togo had a change of heart and sought to ditch the CFA franc, France made another example.
So pause. So I'm showing you all the evil that France been doing, man. Okay? Because remember what we read. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, the nations going to spoil you. Okay, so now Tango, that's another African nation. They say, listen, we don't want to use the France franc no more. We don't want to use your money as currency no more. Okay? So France said, listen, we got to make you an example too. Like you ain't learned from Guinea. You all don't understand. I ain't playing with you all. I run this, man. You all belong to me. Africa belong to me. So when you hear that little leprechaun Macron keep talking about, we need to go to Africa and build bonds with the people in Africa. No. He's doing it for ulterior motives.
Right.
You understand? he's losing the grips that he had over there. So he's trying to do what? To regain back that power. But I'm gonna show you all something. Keep on playing.
Loose ends. Togo's leader, Sylvanus Olympio, was assassinated in January 1963. French involvement is suspected, but official records remain conveniently closed. Of itself, further attempts to conceal French imperialism followed. The CFA.
Pause. So they killed the leader of Tango when he said refused to use the French currency. Okay, they killed him. Keep on playing.
Franc was split into two currencies covering the Central and West African states. By the mid-1970s, their respective central banks were Africanized and moved to Yaoundé and Dakar. Though local Africans staffed these institutions, there were no fundamental policy changes, and France retained veto power over the banks' governing statutes. This included a requirement that member states deposit half their exchange reserves at the French treasury, plus another 20% for financial liabilities, meaning member states retained access only to 30% of their money.
Pause.
Moreover,
Pause. So if all these African countries right now, when they remember their money, they gotta put it where? In the French bank.
Right.
When they got to put 50%, then another 15%, and they only get access to 30%.
Damn, bro.
Fire! Shit. So if you put $100 in the bank, you could only take out $30.
Damn.
You all see what France is doing to Africa? Fire! This is right now, this is this day till this day. This is what's going on over there, you know. The banks and them in Africa is run and controlled by France. Okay? Because Africa got all the resources, but their money is pegged to the European dollar, which is pegged to the franc, or the French dollar. Y'all understand? So keep on playing.
Foreign exchange conversions were to pass through the French treasury. The way this fiscal policy works is by operations accounts. These are special accounts held at the French treasury. The denominations are in euros, but when accounts are in credit, the African central banks effectively place their foreign exchange reserves at France's disposal. But when the central banks' accounts are in debit, they are obligated to pay interest to the French treasury. In other words,
pause. So they got to put all their money in the French central bank, right? And when they take money out of the French central bank, if their deposit is low, if they ain't got enough money, they got to pay interest. You all see the chip basket, right? You all see the chip bag. Keep on playing.
Member states pay France to hold on to their money. Even more unsettling, no one knows what France does.
It says that they paying France to hold on to their money for them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Gangster stuff right here.
Yo, you remember what we read early on? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, the nation's gonna spoil you. Okay? These Hamitic tribes that you see living in France, these Arab people that you see living in France, they gonna rise up and they're gonna bite them. That's what you see taking place. The civil unrest. Okay? Go back a little more and keep playing.
Debit, they are obligated to pay interest to the French treasury. In other words, CFA member states pay France to hold on to their money. Even more unsettling, no one knows what France does with the money. The French treasury does not disclose this information even to CFA franc nations. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary if France were to reinvest African funding for French profit. However, one looks at it, the CFA scheme is an effective moneymaker for France, and French businesses benefit as much as the French treasury.
Pause.
More specifically,
so they take Africa, these African countries, they give France their money.
Right.
And France take their money and reinvest it. You just see what's going on.
Fire!
And France let them know, listen, you only have access to 30% of your money. If you want it, you could only take 30%. The rest got to stay in there.
And they take the money and lend it out for interest.
Yeah,
that's what banks do.
That's what they do. That's what the... So I want you all to see, I'm going to show you all some things with Macron later on, all right? If I get more time. Because time is flying. Keep on playing.
France doesn't need to draw on its foreign exchange reserves for African imports. Dozens of French multinationals are present in Africa, including TotalEnergies, Areva, and Vinci. Africa also grants France access to strategic resources like uranium, which is indispensable for France's nuclear energy sector, meeting 3/4 of French energy needs. Meanwhile, Gabon is a source of crude oil. Mauritania delivers.
So you'll see how France is exploiting Africa. You understand? Uranium, they get in that. Oil, they get in that. You understand? Okay? This is what France is doing, because thou hast spoiled many nations, they shall spoil thee. Keep on playing.
Iron ore, while Togo and Benin provide agricultural commodities. Additionally, the icing on the cake, French national Vincent Bolloré owns most of West Africa's major ports. It is thus
So
not
you'll
by
see that. So you'll see who own half them ports over there in Africa. It's the French. You understand? The French. Don't let them fool you thinking that, oh, colonization is over. No. They not over there with guns and the military literally doing it, but they still... Africa is still colonized till this day. Understand that? Okay, keep playing.
That former French president Jacques Chirac once stated that much of the money in French banks comes precisely from exploiting Africa, and that France would lose its global standing without its African empire.
Pause. So they said most of France wealth comes from Africa.
Right.
And France will lose its global supremacy anytime, Africa say, listen, we ain't messing with you no more. You don't understand? I want you all to understand the seriousness with this right here. Okay? That's why in Tongo they had to assassinate the leader over there that didn't want to play ball. That's why in Guinea they had to destroy that economy and the people over there because they didn't want to play ball. And the ball I'm talking about is using the French currency, which is the franc, to giving Frank their money, giving them all their money. You feel what I'm saying? You gotta give me, okay, you got $10 billion, you gotta give me $5 billion to put in my account, then 50% for security, and then you could take 13%, 30%. That's all you access to. You see how they are robbing the nation? You see how they robbing Africa? Okay, no, keep playing.
Yeah.
To preserve its hegemony, France has intervened militarily on the continent 40 times since the 1960s, from propping up corrupt dictators to conducting military operations in the Sahel. Moreover,
that's it. So they intervened, and it's more than that. That's what we know about. Okay, they back military dictators. They start coups and so forth. That's what they do. Okay, so I'm showing you all what France been doing. France is one of them 7 heads. France is one of them 10 horns. Okay, France is part of the beast. I want you all to understand that. America is the head of the beast, but France is part of the beast. Okay? They all got the same mind. France got the same mind like America. I want you all to understand that.
Dominican.
Yep.
Bring it out.
No. I want you to jump. Let me see. Go to Daniel 7 and 19 and 20. Read that for me.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful.
So this fourth beast is exceeding dreadful. It's talking about who? It's talking about the Caucasian race. 7 heads and 10 horns, what you read about in Revelation. It's talking about the nation of Edom. Okay, it's talking about Europe, France, okay, Greece, America, Britain, Sweden, all these countries, read on.
Whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass,
read on.
Which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
That's what he did to all the nations. That's what this fourth beast, which is America and Europe, this is what they did to all nations on the earth, including the dark nations. He stamped them under their feet, meaning he destroyed them. This is how they roll. This is how this fourth beast, which is the eagle, this is how they roll. They don't play games. They will take your country and its resources. And then, in modern time, they make it seem as they are not oppressing you, but secretly, they have colonized your resources and your country secretly. You feel what I'm saying? Secretly, like they ain't physically, they're colonizing Africa.
Right.
But behind the scenes, they control all the resources in Africa. Their banks, they got all the African banks set up where they have to send their money to France. You feel what I'm saying? And they
Policies.
yeah, they chew their policies, they rub in Africa, man.
Yeah, and they own the port, they own the port. So you know,
yep. All the major ports in Africa is owned by nothing in the French control African countries. Let me say it that way.
Right.
Is owned by France.
Right, because they said if the country don't follow the policies, that they wouldn't be able to partake in what the trading, international trading, where they're supposed to depend on resources from other countries, etc.
Right.
So,
hey, remember in the video it says this is the modernized face of imperialism, but in the background is colonialism. They still taking resources. They controlling the financial system. France got those countries in Africa in a chokehold.
Yep. So keep on reading.
Verse 20. And of the 10 horns.
The 10 horns, France is one of the 10 horns. Read on.
That were in his head, and of the other which came up.
The other that came up is America. Read on.
And before whom 3 fell.
Okay, that's the war that America came up through them wars. America gained its independence through fighting Britain, France, and Spain. Okay, so from there, I want you to go to Daniel 11 and 39.
Daniel chapter 11 verse 39.
Scripture loaded.
And thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God.
Now, a lot of these scriptures is twofold. All right, this right here we're reading about is twofold. Okay, read it again.
Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God.
With a strange God. The strange God here is talking about Caesar Borgia, the image of the beast, Christianity. Okay, read on.
Whom he shall acknowledge.
Read on.
And increase with glory.
Read on.
And he shall cause them to rule over many.
And he shall cause them to rule over many. Read on. The many here is talking about on the continent of Africa. You understand? Read on.
And shall divide the land.
And shall what?
And shall divide the land.
And he shall divide the land. Read on.
For gain.
For gain. For riches. Okay, as I said, this is going into two things. Okay, we're using it now to explain what took place and when. I want you to pull up the image I sent you, number 5. Pull that up for me. Okay. It says that he shall divide the land for what?
For gain.
He shall divide the land for gain. He here is talking about the white man. It's talking about the fourth beast. He shall divide the land for gain. What land did he divide for gain? Put that image up on the screen. He shall divide the land for gain. No. I want you all to see this right here. Africa was divided during the Belgian Conference. The Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. You had all these nations come together. You see Belgium, France, Germany, Great Britain, Italy, Portugal, Spain, and the bottom there is independent. But what I want you all to understand, Africa was divided by the Caucasian nation, by the fourth beast. Okay, that's why it says that he stumped them under his feet. Okay, he stumped all these nations. All these nations was conquered by Europe. Okay, no, I want you all to see the color coding. France controlled, you see, all the way to the top there. Everything in brown, Algeria, that's why it's called French West Africa.
Okay.
All that coast was controlled by France. Liberia, Togo, all these places was controlled by France. Okay, all right there. All that was controlled by France. Even Madagascar was controlled by France. Morocco, Tanzania, all these places was controlled by France. All right, then you had Belgium control where? The Congo. Okay, the Congo was controlled by Belgium, and then you got Germany control South and West Africa, Cameroon, okay, East Africa, that was controlled there. So Italy control where? Well, they were trying to control Ethiopia, Libya. All right, so basically the map you all see there is the conquest of Africa. You all understand? This is going into that right there is going into the Berlin Conference. Okay, when the Caucasian race came together and they divided Africa amongst themselves. You know what I mean? There were no African nations, kings there when they sat down and said, you going to take this part, I'm going to take that part, and you going to take that part. But I want you to see the part that the French and them own. Where you see with that's in the light brown, that French territory. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something. They took Africa by war. You feel me? They took it by violence. Okay? That's why it's called, they colonized Africa. And the native people of the land, they said, this ain't your land no more. We taking it. Okay? That's what they did. That's what the European nations did. That's what the fourth beast that rose up on this earth did. Okay? So that's why the scripture says in Habakkuk, it said, warn to him that what? It says that he increased in that which is not his. Okay? Even till this day, the French government say they ain't colonized Africa no more, but they have colonized Africa, but they did it in a way where you gotta, how to say, you gotta research to find out. All these African countries, none of them could say they coming up with their own money. None of them could use any other money to trade and so forth. They all must use the franc.
Right.
They must use the money from France to trade internationally. And France take their money. They paying French to hold their money. The French to hold their money for them. That's what they doing. You feel what I'm saying? So right now, France is robbing Africa and exploiting Africa for her natural resources and her money and all of that. Okay, we saw early on the natural minerals and so forth that France is getting from Africa, like uranium. You have the food products, oil, all of that stuff they are getting from diamonds, gold, all them stuff they are getting from the same places that they had rulership, that they had power over.
Right.
When they divided up, they never let them go. They never really said, okay, we ain't colonizing you all no more. You're free. Okay, that's why, hold on. That's why when the president said we rather to be free than to be slave to France, they turn around and destroy the economy. I played that video early on. You all remember that? Yep, that's what they did, and they sent fake money in. They sent fake money in the nation. All right, they back military groups and so forth to overthrow the leader of the country. That's what they do. Okay.
Right.
So, go ahead.
Even what to your point, D, what you was mentioning earlier, when they did allow central banks to be put in the far left. There's two places that they put central banks in it, but they said even though they put the banks there, France still got veto power. Veto power is when you control the law. These African countries cannot come up and form no type of council and say we're gonna reform the banks or do nothing like that. France is the one that make the laws and they gotta follow that. That's it.
So France said, listen, you all need to give me 50% of all your money in your country. France said, listen, you all cannot trade your goods. Oh, smack, I forget this video. It's a video I was watching. Where France have first say even when it comes to if any of these countries could trade with other countries and so forth.
Damn.
Okay? Yeah, for real, man. For real. You know, it's serious like that, man. You know, for real. But anyways, let's go back. See if I can find it. Let's go back to Daniel and read it again.
Daniel chapter 11 verse 39. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God.
Read on.
Whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many.
And he shall cause them to rule over many. Read on.
And shall divide the land.
And the land gonna be divided. Read on.
For gain.
For gain. So France, Belgium, Britain, they all divided the land of Africa for gain. Okay? That's what we're reading about here right now. Now, pull up the article, the Belgian conference. Pull that up for me. Yep, I'll read that for me.
Okay. Berlin Conference from 1884 to 1885. Meeting at which the major European powers negotiated and formalized claims to territory in Africa.
So they come together and they say, listen, we ain't gonna fight amongst each other. Let's just decide who gonna take what territory in Africa. You know what I mean? Because we gonna fight and kill each other. It make no sense we kill each other. Let's kill these niggas. You know what I mean?
Also called the Berlin West Africa Conference.
The Berlin West Africa Conference. Now, I want you all to understand, when this conference took place, there was no black people there. There was no leaders in Africa there. And they making a conference to divide up a land that is not theirs. That's the same thing we read in Habakkuk. Woe unto him that do what?
That increase it.
That increase it in that which is not his. Okay? Keep on reading.
The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885 marked the climax of the European competition for territory in Africa.
So they was at competition and fighting each other for what? For territory in Africa. And you could see the map that I put up. That's how they had divided up the territory. Okay? Keep on reading.
A process commonly known as the Scramble for Africa.
Read on.
During the 1870s and early 1880s, European nations such as Great Britain, France, and Germany began looking to Africa for natural resources.
So they start looking to Africa for natural resources. Read on.
For their growing industrial sectors, as well as a potential market for the goods these factories produce. As a result, these governments sought to safeguard their commercial interests in Africa and began sending scouts to the continent for secure treaties from indigenous peoples or their supposed representatives.
So they went over there acting like they come for treaties. Let's make a treaty with you, Congo, or this place. But when they really came, it's really we about to conquer you all and colonize you all. Okay, keep on playing.
Similarly, Belgium's King Leopold II, who aspired to increase his personal wealth by acquiring African territory, hired agents to lay claim to vast tracts of land in Central Africa to protect Germany's commercial interests. German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, who was otherwise uninterested in Africa, felt compelled to stake claims to African land.
So you got white people from Europe staking claims to African land. To the land of Africa. That don't make no sense. That's why I tell you all, that's what we're reading about. We read about who increaseth in that which is not his. Okay, this is what they did. This is what the fourth beast did. This is what the 10 horns did. This is what the European nations did. Okay? Keep on playing.
Inevitably, the scramble of territory led to conflict among European powers.
Okay, read on.
Particularly between the British and French in West Africa.
So you'll see that they will fight. Britain and France was fighting for Africa. Okay? Read on.
Egypt, the Portuguese, and British in East Africa. And the French and King Leopold II in Central Africa.
Okay, so from there, so basically you could look that up and read it and so forth. Okay, you could look that up and read it so forth. What I said, the Belgian Conference, read that.
The Berlin Conference did not initiate European colonization of Africa, but it did legitimate and formalize the process. In addition, it sparked new interest in Africa following the close of the conference.
So all right, so they came together and they start conquering Africa. This is the natives. All right? Okay, who did that? Who was part of that? France. Now read that in Habakkuk again one more time for me, man. No, read Daniel 7. And then, no, not Daniel 7. Daniel 11 and 39. Then go back to Habakkuk and read that again.
Daniel chapter 11 verse 39. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds.
Read on.
With a strange God.
With a strange God. Read on.
Whom he shall acknowledge.
Read on.
And increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many.
Read on.
And shall divide the land.
And he shall divide the land. Read on.
For gain.
For gain. And rob the people over there from their natural resources. Who did that? The so-called white man. The fourth beast. Okay? The Caucasian race. Now go to Habakkuk and read it again. Yeah.
Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him?
All these, what you all see taking place in Europe right now, in France, where you see these people rising up against France, these Arabs, is the same people that they've been robbing from their countries and destroying their countries through war. Read on.
And a taunting proverb against him?
Read on.
And say, woe to him!
Woe to him, read on.
That increaseth that which is not his.
Because what? The so-called white man have increased in the way how they become rich is by robbing and stealing from Africa and from all these other countries. This is how they becomes rich. That's why it says what? Read it again.
Woe to him!
Death or destruction to him. Read on.
That increaseth.
That increase. Read on.
That which is not his.
Africa does not belong to the so-called French. Okay, Africa did not belong to the so-called Britain. Okay, America did not belong to the Britain. America did not belong to French. Because not just Africa, they divided up America. Okay? They divided up America because New Orleans and all of that was controlled by the French. Okay, they even Haiti, they divided up Haiti. Okay, now let me show you all some, right? You all see how during the Haitian Revolution, how the French was destroyed by the Haitians, and the Haitians fought for their independence and kicked the French out of the country. And because of that, the French said, listen, you have to pay me money, reparations, and Haiti just finished paying off them reparations. Billions of dollars. right? That's what French did. The French did to Haiti. Now, what you see taking place in Africa right now? Should not the people of Africa tell France, listen, you all got to pay us for the exploitation and for everything that you all, the colonization and everything you all did?
Yes, sir.
But guess what? Africa can't do that. Why? Because they don't have the military power to demand such things.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? France was able to do that with Haiti because they got the military power to do that. Okay? Now let me show you all something. Go to Micah. Micah 2 and start at verse 1.
Book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1.
Yeah, I only got 15 minutes. Keep on reading.
Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
That divine iniquity and work evil upon their bed. When they sleeping, they dreaming about evil they're going to do to you. That's crazy. Read on.
When the morning is light.
When the morning is light, read on.
They practice it.
Meaning they doing on their beds in the night. They come up in secret council and they scheme and they plan what they're going to do, and in the morning they do it. Read on.
Because it is in the power of their hand.
What does it mean by it is in the power of their hand? Meaning they got the military might. They got the power to do what they're doing. They said, we gonna colonize Africa. Guess what? They came over there with their guns and their weapons, and they murder and kill the people in Africa, and they colonize Africa. They said, we gonna colonize America. They came here, they saw the North American Indians and Reuben and Issachar over here. They said, we don't care. What they did, they made war, they conquered, and they destroyed the indigenous people over here. Why? Because the power is in their hand. Okay, when they went to Africa, they said, oh, these are the scattered Israelites. Okay, we're going to enslave them. Okay, and there were power in their hand to do that. You feel what I'm saying? Read it again.
Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
Read on.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
Because it is in the power of their hand. They got the power to do what they want to do. Okay, the evil that they have been doing on this earth. They had the power. Why? Because of their military strength, their military advancements. Okay, read on.
And they covered fields.
And they covered fields. Okay, they covered fields. The fields there they covered is the whole land of Africa.
Right.
They covered fields. Read on.
And take them by violence.
And they took Africa by violence. Okay, they took Ghana by violence. They took all these countries over there, Tongo, all these countries, they took it by violence. They divided Africa amongst themselves. Okay, that's what they did. That's what the Caucasian race did. That's what the fourth beast did. That's what the 7 heads and 10 horns did. Okay, that's what the beast did. Okay, read on.
And houses, and take them away.
Read on.
So they oppress a man.
So they oppress a man. Read on.
In his house.
And his house. Read on.
Even a man.
Read on.
And his heritage.
And they oppress people heritage. Meaning their culture and all of that. They even took your culture from you. But that's what they did to us. When we was brought here as slaves, our culture was taken away from us. Okay, they stole our culture. All right, that's what they did. Not just, it says they oppress a man and his heritage. When you look on the continent of Africa, the people on the continent of Africa, they also have forgot their heritage.
Right.
All right, you go over there, you see what? You see Caesar Borgia, the white image of Christ, all over the continent of Africa. You see white Jesus all over the continent of Africa. The heritage that the people over there was following, it have been taken from them. They were taught Christianity. When did they learn that? They learned that when they were colonized by France, by Britain, by all the nations that I showed there early on, that the Belgian conference where they divided up the land. When they divided up the land, they came over there with Christianity and they brainwashed everybody over there. They oppressed the people over their heritage. Okay, them customs and culture that they following. When the white man came over there with and colonize over there, guess what? They forgot all their culture that they used to follow. The same thing with the Israelites that was over there. They forgot their culture too, because we were in Africa, living in Africa, had communities and all of that in Africa. You know, so we forgot our culture too. They did it to the Hamitic tribes over there. They make sure they destroyed us too. Okay? Read on.
Verse 4. Verse 3. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks.
So read on.
Neither shall ye go heartily.
So this family is talking about the nation of Edom. God said he gonna do an evil to you. You know what I mean? He gonna set that trap where you ain't gonna be able to remove your neck. Your head I get chopped off. Read on.
For this time is evil in that day.
And for this time is evil. This time he talking about here is World War III. Okay? And in that day, read on.
Shall one take up a parable against you.
Somebody gonna pick up the nations that you've been oppressing going to speak against you. And this is what they're gonna say. Read on.
And lament with a doleful lamentation.
Read on.
And say, we be utterly spoiled.
You have stole our resources. You have stole our land. Read on.
He had changed the portion of my people.
You have changed how the portion of our people. It says they have changed them. Meaning what? What's the portion of Israel? Our portion was what? The land of Israel. Our portion is our heritage and all of that. He have what? Read it again.
He had changed the portion of my people.
God, he says he have changed the portion of my people. Okay, meaning your culture and everything that was given unto you, it have been changed.
Damn.
You understand? And the same thing have happened to the Hamitic tribes over there in the land of Africa. Okay, Esau have changed their culture. You go over there, all you see is white Jesus all over the place. They all go to church on Sunday. You understand? This is what he have done. Okay, he have also done the same thing in Arab countries too. Okay, read it again one more time.
He had changed the portion of my people.
Read on.
How hath he removed it from me?
How have he removed it from me? Read on.
Turning away, he had divided our fields.
So the fields, the land have been divided.
Right.
He have divided our fields. He divided Africa. Okay, read on.
Therefore, thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord.
Read on.
Prophesy ye not, say they to them that prophesy.
Read it again.
Prophesy ye not.
This is what they say. They say, prophesy ye not. This is what the ADL say. This is what the FBI say. This is what the SPLC say. This is what wicked, destroyed Negroes say. Okay? The Lord says that they say what?
Prophesy ye not, say they to them that prophesy.
So they say, don't prophesy. Don't prophesy. That who they speaking to? No, they speaking to us. No, they're speaking to the prophets of God. Okay? Read on.
They shall not prophesy to them, that they shall not take shame.
That they shall not what?
That they shall not take shame.
So what is this saying? They don't want us to prophesy unto them, so they shall not what?
Take shame.
What is that talking about? Because you prophesy, you speaking about the evil that they have done.
Reveal them.
We revealing them, they start feeling ashamed. You not gonna make me shame for the evil that I did in Africa. Right. Me conquering Africa, dividing Africa, exploiting Africa. Me destroying you, enslaving you. You trying to make me feel ashamed for what I did. Okay, you keep mentioning slavery in school. You making my kids feel ashamed for what their fathers did.
Yes.
Y'all see what that's going into?
Yes, Deacon, we see it.
Read it again.
Verse 6, prophesy ye not, say they to them that prophesy.
So they don't want us to prophesy the truth, brothers. They do not want us to prophesy the truth, because when we prophesy the truth, it make them feel how? Read on.
They shall not prophesy to them, that they shall not take Shame.
Because they don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to take shame for the evil that they have done. The colonization and the colonization and the destroying of the people of God and the continent of Africa, they do not want to take responsibility or shame for what they have done. Read on.
O thou that art named the house of Jacob.
Read on.
Is the spirit of the Lord straitened? Are these his doings?
Okay, from there, jump to Revelation 6 and 2. So it says that they don't want to take shame for what they have done, right? No. What time is it? Oh, man, I only got 6 minutes. All right, I might go like 5 minutes over or something.
All praises. Ball rolling.
I had a video I wanted to show you now. Let me see. You know, I ain't showing no more video. You know what? Let me show the video. Nah, I ain't showing the video. Let me just go to Revelation 6 and 2 and I'm going there.
Revelation chapter 6 verse 2.
A bunch of videos I'm supposed to show. Time be flying.
Do a part 2, Deacon.
Yeah, keep on reading.
And I saw, and behold, a white horse.
And I saw a white horse. Read on.
And he that sat on him.
And he that sat on that white horse. Read on.
Had a bow. And a crown was given unto him.
And a crown was given unto him, meaning dominion, rulership. Read on.
And he went forth conquering.
And he went forth what?
Conquering.
Conquering, read on.
And to conquer.
And to conquer. This first horse here is talking about who? It's talking about that fourth beast.
Right.
It's talking about that fourth beast. Okay, that conquered the earth. All right, that conquered Africa, that destroyed the Chinese. That I'm telling you. Okay, he was giving him a great sword, meaning weaponry. Okay, keep on reading.
Verse 3. And when he had opened the second seal,
read on.
I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him.
So this horse that was red is talking about who? The so-called white man, the nation of Edom. But the Bible's Edom is what? Red. Okay, read on.
And power was given to him.
And power was given to him. Read on.
That sat thereon.
The person that sit on these horses is Edom. The nation of Edom, the Caucasian race. He's what's riding these horses.
That's right.
Okay, read on.
And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
This is where you had World War I and World War II. And World War III and even the war with Russia and Ukraine.
Right.
Okay? That's what you see going on right now. This is talking about the wars that they fight amongst each other. How you know that? Keep on reading.
That they should kill one another.
That they kill. This war that we talking about is them using their weapons on each other. They fighting each other. That's why I said they should kill each other. These wars is not them killing the Africans.
No.
Because they already conquered the Africans in the verse above.
Right.
Okay, this war is them killing each other. It's what you see taking place in World War II when the Jewish people was being killed. That was them killing each other. Caucasians killing Caucasians. Edomites killing Edomites.
Right.
Russians killing Germans. Okay, that's what it's going into. Russians killing Ukraine because they're the same people. That's why I said they should kill one another. Read on.
And there was given unto him a great sword.
Read on.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see.
Read on.
And I beheld, and lo, a black horse.
So the black horse represents the continent of Africa, the African nations. All right, that's who the black horse represent. Read on.
And he that sat on him.
And he that sat on that horse, meaning he that conquered Africa, that's riding that horse. Read on.
Had a pair of balances in his hand.
Read on.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny.
Damn.
And 3 measures of barley for a penny.
So what is this going into? This is going into what France and what Europe is doing to Africa, how they are exploiting Africa. Y'all understand? How they are telling Africa, your money don't worth nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And they are robbing Africa of their resources. A barley, they're supposed to be buying a barley for this price, but they what? They're selling it. Wait, read it again. Read it again. A penny what?
A measure of wheat for a penny.
A measure of wheat for a penny, read on.
And 3 measures of barley for a penny.
So you paying the same price that you paying for one measure of wheat, and you paying three times worth what it costs. It's talking about them dealing unjustly. Them dealing unjustly and is exploiting the resources over there in Africa. That's what this verse says going into. All right. So brothers and sisters, I'm gonna close it off there. I wasn't able to go. I wasn't able to touch on. I had some more videos to show you all with what France is doing over there in Africa. Okay. Oh no, one more thing I gotta touch on. No, y'all remember? Y'all just give me 2 minutes, yo. Y'all remember? I want the video that I sent with Gaddafi. Y'all remember that Gaddafi tried to set up a world central bank, right? An African central bank, right? He tried to set up an African central bank. The video that I show you all with France and how France control all the money over there in Africa, right? All African nations, they have to give their money to France, okay, to hold for them, right. And they could only access 30% of their money. Africa does not have a central bank. So Gaddafi was trying to set up a central bank in Africa for all nations to come together.
Okay.
Okay? And that's why he was killed. Gaddafi was killed by the French government. You understand? The French government, and also led by NATO forces, the French government led by America, they killed Gaddafi. All right?
If Gaddafi did create that,
right,
we don't need the French government.
Right, they're not going to need to use the French money no more to trade if Gaddafi had set up that African central bank. Okay, no. So this is, you all understand what's going on. You all understand why they killed Gaddafi. Now play that video for me.
Explosive new revelations that cast light on France's intelligence services, the DGSI. Jean-François L'Huillier, France's former #1 spy in Libya, was in the job in Tripoli during the Arab Spring before the fall in October 2011 of Muammar Gaddafi. His top-secret mission was clear.
It was a mission that the French President's office had given to the DGSI. Get major figures in Libya to defect so they can be turned against Gaddafi.
France, which only a few years earlier had welcomed the Libyan leader in great pomp, now wanted him gone. L'Huillier outlines in a new book, The Man in Tripoli, how France tried to undermine Gaddafi in numerous ways, such as by getting his foreign minister to flee the country.
You pushed people to betray their country effectively. Not just their country.
Pause. So they push people to betray their country. Yo, let me tell you all something. Africa is not poor. Africa is not a poor country. We always hear these white people talking about Africa is so poor, the country is poor. If the country is poor, what the hell are you going over there for? Africa got gold and resources.
Just like Haiti.
Brazil got gold and resources. Haiti got gold and resources. Okay, Venezuela got gold and resources. How the hell you all keep talking about these countries is third world and poor when your country is becoming rich off of the resources of that country? If the country is poor, how you are getting rich off of it? Y'all see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Y'all don't fall for the lies, man. Oh, Africa is poor. They say it's poor so they could go over there and talk about they helping you, and then they steal all the resources and so forth. Okay? Keep playing.
Convictions.
That minister, Moussa Koussa, defected and found asylum in the United Kingdom. At the same time, the military intervention led by France and the UK laid a fatal blow to Gaddafi's regime. The rebels were now ready to take...
So you'll see that? Led by France and the UK. They murdered Gaddafi. You understand? Why this was done? Because Gaddafi was trying to set up an African central bank, which would have destroyed what? France currency. You understand? The wealth that France they get it from Africa even till this day. So anytime that central bank was developed, it would have been destroyed. The currency would have been destroyed. Keep on playing.
Power. Jean-François L'Huillier was entrusted with approaching them and giving them all the help they needed.
We would be told where Gaddafi's units would be, that they were regularly targeting villages with missiles. The rebels would say, do something for us. So I would get on to Paris to see if they would send NATO planes. From that point, though, it was out of my hands. I'm afraid it wasn't like I was in a film and pressing a button, and then the planes would come.
Gaddafi's final moments were filmed. He was caught trying to flee and then lynched by rebels. Jean-François L'Huillier denies the rumour which has long circulated that says Gaddafi was killed by a French intelligence agent.
So y'all see that? So y'all know the scripture said their tongue go and tell on them? Now this dude writing a book talking about how he helped kill Gaddafi and disrupt the government over there in Libya. So you understand, these same people is going to France and they living in France. Libya is destroyed right now. It's poverty over there like crazy. So the people in Libya, guess where they at?
In France.
They in France. Okay? So the Lord said they shall rise up and bite thee, and that's what you see going on in France right now.
Right.
Okay? No, I ain't gonna go longer. You know, we got another show coming up next, you brothers and sisters. I hope you all got some of the what I just went over. Okay? With that, you know, make sure you all subscribe. You know, log on, like, share. You all already know. And y'all stay in the spirit, man. Don't let nobody take your crown. God's will, I see y'all again next week if I'm not traveling or something. But yo, y'all stay strong, brothers and sisters. Y'all was tuned into another week at the Raven and Wolves radio show. You don't know.
All praises, all praises, all praises. Fire, 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 fire.
Hey, real quick, Osalahi. It's all right.